Hello and welcome back to AutoCAD for Landscape Horticulture. We're working on AutoCAD Release 13. Want to cover some of the most basic commands to get you started. We'll be talking about several commands today, including line command, zoom command, and pan command. But let's start by looking at the status bar. So again, that's the bottom part of your AutoCAD space. All these buttons will control how things are drawn in AutoCAD. We'll be walking through this one by one. So right now, let's start with all of these turned off. So I'm going to click all of them until they're all off, and we have a pretty blank screen. To enter any command in AutoCAD, you have several options. You have the icons that are up here. You have the command line down here. And sometimes I'll have you right-click on your mouse, and then you get a bunch of commands that pop up. Let's start with the line command. Let's start by picking the icon. Even though we're using the icon up here, I want you to read that command line. That will keep you focused and make sure you're doing what the computer expects. As we get into some more complicated commands, there will be several steps involved. So it's asking for the first point of the line. Let's click down here, move your mouse up, and click towards the top of the screen. As you notice, it will continue drawing line segments. We don't want any more. Let's keep it simple, so we're going to hit Escape. Escape will get you out of any command, and if we read the command line, it's now empty. So that's what we call an empty command line. Another very valuable command is how to zoom. It's very easy to use the scrolly button on your mouse to move back and forth, zoom in and out. That can have dire consequences in the future when we set the scale of a drawing. We're actually drawing to scale. If a plan were happen to get out printed that is not to scale, it can cost a company a lot of money. So I want you to avoid using the scrolly button until we know exactly how to use it and what the dangers can be. So again, we're going to look at another command. Let's look at pan. Easiest place to get pan is actually that right click. So we can right click and we can pan. So we're going back and forth across the screen and up and down. So it doesn't change the zoom factor, but it lets you move around on the screen. To get out of that, we're going to hit either Enter or Escape. I always use Escape. That's kind of old school. Another thing we can do is zoom. So I told you not to use the wheel button. So now let's type in Z on the keyboard for zoom and then Enter. Gives you a lot of options if you read down here. The one we want is real-time zoom. Whatever is inside of these parentheses we want to use as the default. So by hitting Enter, we can accept the default. And now we have this extra magnifying glass with a plus and a minus. This works on the diagonal that I've drawn this line at. So if you click up towards the top and drag it down at a diagonal to the bottom, things get smaller or things get bigger. If you try to move it horizontally across the page, it doesn't do anything. So you don't use it horizontally, you can use it diagonally, you can use it the other direction diagonally, you can use it up and down, but it does not work going horizontally across the page. We'll escape out of that, and then we'll use my very favorite command of all time, which is Zoom Extents. Z, Enter, E, Enter. This will show all of the lines and objects you have drawn on your workspace. If you get lost, stop, clear your command line, and type in Z, Enter, E, Enter. And then you can find your way back to what you were trying to draw. That's also available if we right click. We can click on Zoom, and then E for Extents. You'll get the same thing. Now let's draw another line. So let's go back up here and click the line command, and we'll just draw X on the screen, hit Escape to get out. Erase is also a very important command, so let's practice an erase. And you can either pick up this eraser or we can type in E for erase and enter. So let's click on this line and then enter, and that line disappears. My favorite command for teaching new students is called the OOPS command. It just sounds fun. You hardly ever get to use it, but there are some neat things it can do. Type OOPS into the command line and press enter. And that will actually bring back the last thing erased. Typically, undo will undo the last step. So if we happen to, let's erase this one more time. So if we erase that and we zoom in, we zoom out, we move around, we draw another line, we can still use the OOPS command to bring back an object or line work that was last deleted without doing the undo command. So I'm going to undo once. So we're back to that same spot before I use the OOPS command. So if we were just to try to undo to get that line back, undo, enter, and remember we can keep hitting the enter button to invoke the last command used. So we'll just keep doing that. And you can see all the different steps. But it took 3 steps to get back to that line where the OOPS command brought back the last thing that was deleted. So that's kind of a handy command that you can store in the back of your knowledge and use it when the time's right. Thank you very much. Hope you're having a great day.